E aí pessoal, beleza? Bom, hoje tô aqui para mais um vídeo da série de Genshin Impact. Vamos continuar, né? Se você quiser ver essa série desde o início, eu vou deixar um card aqui em cima. E, se puder, se inscrever no canal e ativar o sininho, ajuda demais, beleza? É o seguinte, primeiro, que isso, gente? Foi que a mulher ali, ó, eu vi. Vamos pegar os prêmios aqui, ó. Da missão diária, tá aí, né? E vamos seguir a missão que a gente está fazendo. Deixa eu posicionar aqui. Missão que a gente está fazendo, que é o Rei Deseret e os Três Magos. O guardião da vila desaparecido. Vá para o local mencionado por Zack. De acordo com as pistas, Deria propôs ir para o ribate das caravanas para continuar a investigação. Ela parece ter um plano. E tudo que vocês precisam é se preparar. Tá aí. O local marcado é ali. Então vambora. Aqui perto. Vamos ver. Tem que encontrar o guardião lá, o avô do Isaac.
Are we there yet?
Yep, this is the place.
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Se tô olhando, cara.
Why don't you take a guess? Go on, a wild stab in the dark. You're like lamb.
Nossa, vamos morrer.
What's this all about, Zaki?
Come on, Dia. You really think we didn't hear about what you said back in Aru Village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot there. Not only do I know that you're looking for Delavar, I also know that you've teamed up with people from the Academia to look for the missing scholars.
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh. Paimon knew leaving Sino behind was a mistake!
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't ya? Who do you think you are? You really thought we'd fall for your little business deal nonsense?
É, o mais forte é o que vos fala, tá bom?
So you and Delavar have been partners all along.
Dia, I guess it's only natural for a traveling mercenary like you to be out of the loop. Those of us who hang around the tavern have stronger bonds than you think. But you got one thing right. We're all looking forward to an uprising in Sumeru. There's nothing more we'd like to see than the desert folk overthrowing the Academia.
Eu também não gosto da academia, mas, né? Acabar com eles de forma mais pacífica. Só acabar com esse título aí e pronto, tá ligado? Da academia.
If that's the
Né?
case, then I'm sure Delavar wouldn't miss a second of it.
I'll be honest with you, if it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue about the Wall of Samiel would have convinced me that you're one of us.
Delavar. And Engar, you're here too, huh?
Olha os caras aí.
Long time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of King Deshret despise.
Dia, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand why King Deshret is greater than the Dendro Archon. Little did I know, you don't deserve to join us.
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of some baseless rumors. Anything else I'm missing out?
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faithless scum with only one thing on their minds. Mora.
Calma, cara, que isso?
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become my friend.
Enough talking! Get him!
Nossa, galera, vamos morrer agora.
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson,
Ou a gente vai
traveler.
controlar ela? Não? Vamos lá, ó. Vamos lutar parado, só de zoeira. Vou ficar parado, hein. Bom,
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
bati na parede. Sim. Vamos lá, vai. Vamos levar a sério que esses caras estão dando o melhor, né? Eles estão dando o seu melhor. Tá, mais alguém? Mais alguém? Mais alguém? Você, cara. Esse é seu, Oswaldo. Esse é seu. Pronto. Perdemos, né?
Impossible! How could you?
So, what do you think about your meticulous network now, Zaki? How did you say it? It's only natural for a traveling mercenary like me to be out of the... I'm guessing your informant told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that... And of course you would believe everything he reported. The only thing you know about me is that I'm a mercenary, but you've never seen me in action. Even though you heard we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called Flame Mane is just a fraud. She admitted it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust. That's what you thought, right?
You lied in the village because you figured that we'd have people watching you.
Exatamente, na conversa do vídeo ontem. Ela viu que tinha alguém observando. Aí ela soltou mentiras. Eu meio que pensei nisso, mas não tinha certeza, né? Mas até falei no vídeo. Acho que eu falei no vídeo.
And you were stupid enough to fall for it. I figured as much the first time we drank together. You all thought you were so smart. Pathetic.
Nocauteia Zaki com o chute rolou.
Okay, that should be all of them.
Whoa! So you've been planning this since we were in Aru Village?
No task can be done without preparation. I just happened to notice a couple suspicious-looking people while you were out investing.
Oh, but instead of catching them right away, you let them report back.
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, we have to be patient and give it some time.
Então os nomes que você mencionou.
Oh, you mean the funny names she mentioned back in Uncle Ampu's house? The wide-eyed butcher, scar-riddled bandit,
Olha, derrotar a açougueira é comigo mesmo.
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Edgar and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Edgar, the wide-eyed butcher, and Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, are the nicknames they came up with for themselves. Alcohol has a way of making people share what they really think. So Edgar and Delavar are always rambling in the tavern about how King Deshret is a superior deity.
what about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to track him down.
Tá. E quem é o ladrão de barba torta?
That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to.
Ué.
You know, the one who wanted to treat Isak and his grandpa to
Eu
some food.
falei. Ué. Até chamei ele de javali quando eu conversei com ele. Era ele mesmo. Ele. Jabari. A gente falou com ele lá, ele parecia até gente boa, né? Enfim.
Wait, so he's a radical too?
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper think that I was making some wild guesses based on my impressions.
Ah, tá.
Wow, what a genius idea!
Ah, you're too kind. It was straight from the
So, that thing you were saying before,
About what?
about how mercenaries only care about Mora, and that anyone's a friend as long
Does that bother you?
Eu não acho que você é esse tipo de pessoa,
What makes you so sure?
porque mesmo sem ter um empregador, você ainda está nos ajudando. E aí, e aí?
Dia, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other desert folk?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon.
De boa então.
I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of
I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief in King Deshret, making the Dendro Archon out to be an enemy.
But I see through it all. And unlike them, I can never be hostile towards anyone who's never done anything wrong.
Dear.
Anyway, looks like we're done with business here. Traveler, lend me a hand. Let's tie him up and bring him to the village.
Beleza. Foi tudo de boa. Mas e o cara que a gente tem que encontrar ele, gente? Que isso, cutscene? Vai ter coisa aqui? Acho que é porque a gente tá indo pra vila. É.
This should be all of them. I'll let you take it from here.
All right. I'll be in touch. Until...
Candace, do you need any help?
Candace will be okay on her own. I trust her, so you can... She's been guarding Aru village for quite some time now. If any...
While I'm questioning them, why don't you pass some time?
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler.
Tá bom.
As for these idiots, let's just hope they live to see another day.
Que isso, mulher? Calma. Né? Espere até amanhã do dia seguinte. 6 da manhã e 12 horas. Pera aí que não é aqui não. Hora do dia seguinte, hoje, amanhã, 6 da manhã. Pronto. Papai mandou dormir, não é eu. Pronto. Aí está.
Hey, dear.
Right on time.
Vocês descobriram algo com os criminosos?
We'll know any moment now.
Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been friends for a long time?
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against others.
Tá.
Oh, Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial artists say, never take the fight outside the ring.
Yep, I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is, and shoulder that kind of responsibility. Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty much live from one day to the next.
Well, Paimon thinks you're great too.
Really? Thanks for that.
E aí, cara? O que você tá arrumando?
Oh, Sino's here, and he's pretty early too.
Yes. I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? By doing what?
Sharing some interrogation techniques.
Oh, you mean you taught Candace some more persuasive methods?
Coitado dos cara.
Right.
Come on in, everyone.
Come on, let's go inside.
Vamos ver se estão vivos. Vamos ver. Casa do chefe da vila. Bora. Vamos ver, mano. Ah, estão vivos.
Whoa, you look furious.
Do I?
Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry. I'm sure everyone present would agree.
Yes.
Please, don't beat us anymore.
Well, looks like Sino taught her well.
A discípula agora como mestre.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the Village Keepers. They are vital members of our community, and some even count them as family. You come here to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your...
Mercy! Please have mercy.
You've made your bed.
We may all be desert dwellers, but there's one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of King Deshret will only result in war. The people of Aru village care little about which god is in power. Life may be tough and tiring, but we wish to preserve our way of life. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have. And that is not a responsibility that...
We understand. I'll tell you everything I know, please, just...
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in King Deshret's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for.
They're called Village Keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Yes, sorry. It was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King Deshret's resurrection and talked us into helping him. In return, he said he'll help facilitate the resurrection process.
Onde estão os guardiões? Cara, isso que eu quero saber por enquanto, tá bom? Por enquanto é isso que eu quero saber.
I'm not sure.
E vai apanhar.
That's one.
Huh? One what?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then, you die by my hand.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all...
2.
He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm telling the truth, I swear. Just ask them.
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
Você tem alguma ideia quem é essa pessoa misteriosa?
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep... that guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself King Deshret's envoy.
Tá.
I believe I may know what's going on.
Fala aí,
Uncle
vovô.
Anpu.
Que é isso?
Smooth.
Ô, louco.
Okay, speak.
If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man they speak of could be from... Some time ago, people from the Academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused, insisting that they... It strikes me now that this secretive character shares the...
Which means it's highly likely that the Academia was purposely spreading a false rumor to trick the radicals into delivering the village keepers right into their hands.
Tá.
They were the ones who brought them here to begin with. Now they're trying to take them back? We aren't gonna let that happen.
Certo.
Academia again.
Cetária já havia mencionado para nós a cidade de Sumeru. Na cidade de Sumeru. Foi a academia que espalhou os rumores sobre a ressurreição do rei.
Just as I thought. But what could they want with the village keepers?
People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the Academia. A change in their plans likely means they found another way to exploit the scholars.
Tá.
Regardless, our top priority now is locating the...
You're right. Isaac is still waiting for news.
Time to go. Let's leave the village and try to track them down.
Yes.
You got it. Candace, I'll let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us.
All right.
Let's meet back here once everyone's ready.
Beleza, tá aí. Vamos lá. Acabou, né? Saia. Agora finalmente vamos atrás dos guardiões, se é que estão vivos até isso também, né? Não sei. O cara lá levou, um cara misterioso levou eles. Olha quem tá aí, olha.
Some food in us and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Hey, what's with the silence?
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that.
E aí, Paimon, tirou isso aí.
I'm so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname!
Momento histórico. Tem que ser bom, velho. Capitão Pai. Capitão Pai foi o melhor até agora. Então, Paimon, manda um maneiro aí, filha. Me ajuda. Porque você mandou um maneiro e mandou um outro que não foi muito bom.
Never mind. Paimon's got nothing.
Caiu no meu conceito. Aí não.
There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to... Anyway, you plan to leave Aru Village and keep searching for the truth of this matter.
É isso aí.
Yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here. Enough with the silent treatment!
Talvez ele esteja dando tempo.
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Alhaitham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Sim.
Yeah, you're all talk.
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really? Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts.
Ô, louco.
Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you...
Huh? Right here in the...
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But, before that, you need to understand where...
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lied to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have their reason. Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether King Deshret or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village.
Você quer dizer que podemos descobrir coisas novas falando novamente com quem conversamos?
Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived.
Capivara?
The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, and...
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the the Mad Scholars.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals and...
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so...
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurred.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange...
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much...
Then why would she...
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so wary about all this...
I'll pass on this one.
Olo.
You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out.
We're on it.
Bom, não custa tentar, né? Vamos lá. Não custa tentar. Atrasa um pouquinho nossa viagem aí, tá de boa. Cadê a capivara? Cadê? Mulher! Abre a porta.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that you're...
Huh? What do you mean? We need to clarify our stance.
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you want. Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler?
Claro, olá, senhorita Shani.
Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something.
Manda
Do you
brasa.
think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better?
Não,
Why is that?
porque isso atará a guerra.
That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Não dá pra saber, Fia. Não posso prometer, mas farei o melhor.
Yeah, we came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And we aren't really residents
Nós
of
é,
any
tá
one
ligado? Do
nation.
povo, a
But
verdade é essa.
even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't expect you to come back for more information.
Al-Haytham told us you have your reasons. It's okay. We understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to
Vai
either
pra mão
side,
de estádio, Fia.
and neither side would want me.
Vai pra lá. Lá é de boa.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference what I say or how I behave. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone.
O que você viu?
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you, I actually have a sharper sense of
Ouviu.
hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often. And when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really hard to make it out.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's but. Because we're in the middle of a desert, you would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
Você sabe dizer de onde vem o som?
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hot.
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
A doença da Coley lá e daquela outra mulher. Precisamos ir nesse hospital.
Let's go.
Vamos lá. Hospital com pessoas chorando de noite. Não vai virar terror esse jogo aqui do nada não, né? Vamos pegar esse ponto de teleporte e vamos lá. Bora. Na calma e na graciosidade. Tem um Siri lá. Tem um baú ali, ó. Pegar ele rapidão. Stabilize.
Everybody stand back.
Bora. Vocês são importantes, gente. Eu preciso desses itens que vocês dropam. Preciso muito deles.
Midnight Phantasmagoria. I'm the right man.
Solidify.
O cara voa muito lá embaixo.
Certainly worth the extra mile.
Isso aqui é uma planta? Olha. Barras de espinheiro. Ué. Bom, vamos lá. Bora. Esse hospital trata a doença da cólera lá, ó. Tem um Siri aqui. Tá. Casa Al-Shifa sem vida. Rapaz. Realmente tá meio triste o lugar aqui. Enfim. Vamos lá. Pronto. Rabanete. Tem um negócio que eu quero pegar.
Is this the place?
Né?
It's in terrible shape, and there's sand everywhere. Monsters, watch out!
Como assim, pai? Você vê isso aqui todo dia?
Let night fall.
Bum. Stabilize, isso aqui faz parte da missão, que eu não ganhei recompensa. O negócio tá ali no chão, ó. Muito obrigado. Pronto. Fazerei, cara. Opa, tudo bom, cara? Beleza? Chamou Osvaldo. Stabilize. Pronto. O que você estava esperando?
Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky? Or
Não, tá errado. Tá errado isso aí.
he looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one.
Certo.
Let's go in and take a look.
Vocês investigam o hospital minuciosamente.
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then.
Verdade. O que esse cara vai arrumar?
I'm taking a break.
É.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, what are you reading? Let Paimon see.
Okay, sure.
The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion and
O que é isso?
So,
Isso é física, sei lá.
You keep reading your book. See ya.
Eu sei lá que esse cara tá lendo.
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this.
Você deveria ler um livro de vez em quando. Talvez seja a hora de você crescer e se tornar mais culta ou não. Meu livro.
Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated.
Paimon é melhor. Eita. Já ficou de noite. E o choro, cadê?
Paimon getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
Não tô ouvindo, não.
There it is.
Tô sim. Tô ouvindo sim.
It's coming from that direction.
É um cara chorando.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
Tá embaixo aí, Carol.
Below.
É.
But there's no way we can...
Something is off about the interior here.
Tá.
As I thought. There's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like they tucked another hospital into this. Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around here.
Tamo tipo embaixo do hospital, então. Investiga os monumentos elementais ao redor do hospital. Monumentos elementais. É esse aqui, não é? Esse aqui eu não tenho que tirar essa terra daí de perto dele, não. Parece que tá com terra ali, ué. Fazer um ajuste aqui, galera. Colocar ela aqui, ó.
I've been waiting for you for ages.
Certo. O outro deve estar do lado de lá. Melhor olhar de cima. Deixa eu olhar lá em cima.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Bom, tô sem a... Eu tentei fazer o Guba aqui, mas não temos Guba, tá bom?
Everyone hold hands.
Já? Só pode estar do lado de lá o outro. Ah, tá lá, ó. Bora. Solidify pra tu. Já tá nível baixo ainda, né? Enfim. Como ousam? Esta causa pouquíssimo dano. Futuro a gente deve evoluir ela aí. Por enquanto tô focando no andarilho, né? Ele vai entrar no time. O tamanho disso. Tá. vá para os níveis inferiores do hospital. Então, deixa eu voltar com a Xiangling. Xiangling que está nos seus últimos dias aí de time principal, né? O Guba vai descansar. Só quem não descansa é o Oswald, a verdade é essa, né? Certo. Se eu achar essa chave aí, eu abro isso aqui. A chave deve estar aqui embaixo até. Refeições. Aviso de emergência. Turnos. Vaso. Vai estar dentro do vaso, quer ver? Parece haver caule escuro dentro do vaso. As palavras para Avin estão escritas no fundo da garrafa. Parece ser um presente para alguém chamado Avin. Tá. Achei que a chave ia cair de dentro, entendeu? Precisamos ter cuidado. Deve ser o amigo lá, não? O vô do Isaac.
Good idea. Let's approach him slowly without a...
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be... Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
Quem é esse cara?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the Academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life.
Então, como ele ficou assim?
Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught.
Pode ser.
The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found...
Huh? Why do you say that?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormos. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Ah, desse cara? Mas esse aqui usou o negócio divino aí. Esse aí que tá agora aqui no chão aqui também usou o conhecimento divino lá, será? O cara dos eremitas que enlouqueceu.
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting...
Correct. The Academia is behind all... It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru village.
Então a Academia que espalhou a ressurreição, o boato ainda da ressurreição do rei, tá. Ele falou que os guardiões da vila estavam envolvidos. Deve ser por isso que os guardiões sumiram. Então as pessoas que não querem a ressurreição do rei devem ter pegos, né? Os guardiões aí, ó. Deve ter pegado os guardiões.
These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. Unbeknownst to them, of course, through rounding up the scholars, they were actually helping the Academia.
Ah, então quem pegou esses caras aí, igual aquele cara ali, ó, os pesquisadores ali, né, os guardiões, foram os aliados do rei, né? Eu achei que quem pegaria primeiro era o pessoal que era contra o rei, sabe? Mas enfim.
As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the academia.
All the risks and responsibilities
Entendi.
are offloaded. Life for the desert dwellers has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago.
Beneath, many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply needs to make a few empty promises.
Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of King Deshret.
And look for no further explanation than differences of belief. A deep-seated mistrust of the desert and everyone in it by the rest of Sumeru will make sure of that.
Tá.
The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's in line with the but there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to Aru Village in the first place? Why does it want them back now?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. The scholar's identity. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, they become missing persons.
Tá.
An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing person, if you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them.
Sim.
That makes missing people an ideal resource.
Resource?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean canned knowledge comes from...
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, it's entirely possible. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night, when no one is watching them.
So, the human brain... Nope, nah, Hyman doesn't want to think about this.
Como você conhece esse tipo de tecnologia?
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their project. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But
Ô, louco.
something went wrong in the process.
Os conteúdos da cápsula do conhecimento divino foi extraído da mente dele. Esse cara aqui é bruto, então. Então casa direitinho. Por isso que quando aquele outro cara usou conhecimento divino, ficou igual a ele, né? Mas algo saiu de errado no processo.
Or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Né?
Hyman's a little confused. Can they just use
Não é possível. A maioria dos pesquisadores enlouquecidos fez contato com a consciência divina na floresta. É isso que a academia quer. Pode-se dizer que esse conhecimento tem algo a ver com os Fatui, Dottore e Scaramouche. Estão usando o cápsula do conhecimento divino para transformar Scaramouche em um deus. Certo. O pessoal comentou também que eu tinha esquecido. Lá em Inazuma, né? Eu lembrei que a Yaemiko salvou nós do Scaramouche. Mas eu não me lembrava como ela tinha salvado. Vocês lembraram aí que ela entregou uma Gnosis pra ele, né? É verdade. Só depois que eu li o comentário de vocês que eu lembrei, né? Ou seja, o cara tem umas Gnosis aí, a verdade é essa. Tá bruto.
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer.
A academia precisa de pessoas que entraram em contato com uma consciência divina.
That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. Extracting canned knowledge is just one of the extreme... However, I can't help but wonder. The academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge. But what is their ultimate goal? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It seems like my way of thinking is too
Será que a gente vai contar pra ele? Acho que não, né?
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this for...
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress,
Concordo.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The academia's actions run contrary, whether it be academics or knowledge. Everything has its boundaries. If those lines are crossed, the rules and order that govern this matter needs to be corrected. Just like fixing a typo in a book.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor...
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru. And the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every last person?
Então, cara, pior que eu tô fazendo isso mesmo. Eu estou resolvendo o problema de todo mundo. E o meu, ninguém me ajuda. Mas deixa pra depois o meu. Vamos resolver o problema dos outros primeiro, né?
Probably not.
Seus motivos são mais específicos e pessoais.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or the divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of...
Apesar dele rejeitar a noção de uma responsabilidade moral superior, ele justifica suas ações porque elas são fiéis às suas motivações pessoais. Sim. Alguém como ele talvez fosse um aliado melhor.
Hyman's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weird...
You're probably... Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd... Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed. If only Miss Shani had a similar...
I'm just a more likable person than her in general.
Ô louco. O que fazemos com
He
ele?
won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take... We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru Village.
Tá bom. Retorne para a casa do chefe da vila. Mas e a chave para abrir aquela gavetinha? Tem que estar por aqui. Geralmente o jogo coloca perto de onde é o local que tem que abrir, entendeu? Tipo, teve uma missão que eu encontrei. Era missão diária. Eu encontrei um cachorro preso, acho que era um cachorro preso. E encontrei a chave dele pertinho do lugar. Deixa eu ver isso aqui. Homem, 23 anos, há uma verruga do lado esquerdo da testa. Embora a condição ainda seja extremamente grave, sobrevivência será difícil sem cuidados médicos. Se for descoberta, informe imediatamente. Eu queria ver informação sobre a chave, mas não está por aqui. Será que não está aqui dentro, não? Aqui. Uma coisa brilhou aqui, não? Geralmente o jogo deixa perto. Mas enfim. Vambora, né? Tá bom. Ai. Isso aqui abriu agora. Bom, não vou explorar isso aqui agora não, galera. Isso aqui tava fechado, vocês viram? Esse cara velho. Abriu só agora isso aqui. Dá pra quebrar aquilo ali, eu acho. Mas não vou explorar aqui agora não. Bom, a missão é pra voltar pra lá. Então eu já vou dar o fora daqui, tá ligado? Vamos ficar por aqui. Perfeito. Ali é onde eu faço a missão diária. Amanhã a gente continua, tá bom? É isso. Então, mano, eu tô num dilema aí se eu acredito, se eu confio mais no a Reitan, não é o nome dele, ou no Sino lá. Eu não confio em ninguém, verdade? Não confio em ninguém, né? É isso. Vamos ver o que vai acontecer no próximo vídeo. E se a gente encontra lá o pessoal que sumiu, né? Não só o vô do Isaac, mas os outros também, né? É isso. Estavam naquele local ali, só que foram retirados dali, pelo que a gente viu. Só sobrou aquele cara.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Exatamente, né? Bom, espero que vocês tenham gostado, galera. Se puder, deixar o like, muito obrigado. E até o próximo vídeo, hein?